talking about today, Karen?
Yeah, it's my week. So we're going to talk about the Springfield 3.
It's a very interesting case.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's been on a few TV shows in the past. It's an unsolved kidnapping case.
Yes.
So
intriguing. Here we go.
picture it. Springfield, Missouri. June 1992.
I was a month. Wait, maybe a few weeks. No, I was just born.
You were just born, so you're like...
I'm like 2 weeks.
If that. So it's the day after high school graduation.
What day was it, Karen?
It was June 6th. Usually graduation time is a happy, carefree time before those graduates go off into college life or adulthood. They, run off. However, for the family and friends of Stacy McCall, Suzanne Susie Streeter, and Susie's mother, Cheryl Levitt, it was not a time to celebrate, but a time to worry.
Why were they worrying?
Well, let's talk a little bit first about the events leading up to why they're going to worry. Okay? Okay. Streeter and McCall graduated from Kickapoo High School on June 6th, 1992. And as soon as they got those diplomas, they were going around to all of the parties that were in the Springfield area. They were out until the wee hours of 2 a.m. on June 7th, so the next morning. I would have been tired.
Yeah.
I mean, my high school graduation was like 4 hours long. Because we had close to 500 graduates.
Who has a party right at, I guess, some people. I didn't have a social life, so
I went to parties after high school graduation. It's like I hung out with my family, but I also did, later because we graduated, we got there in the morning, and then it was 4 hours, so it was afternoon. We went out to eat with my family for a late lunch, and then a friend had a graduation party, and I went to that. But most of my friends' graduation parties were either the week before or the week after. Nothing was really on the day of because we were tired. I did go to one that night. I remember going to one.
What's going on?
My high school graduation party was the week after I graduated.
No. Mine was in August.
Before you left for college.
Or July. I don't know. It was later on. So most people's were later on. They were scattered everywhere in the summer.
I was so it's just kind of but they went to a lot of parties. But I mean, it's Springfield, Missouri, right? Not a lot to do.
We did have a party. Okay, so we graduated at night, but we had a lock-in at the school, and so we stayed up until 7 in the morning, basically running around, playing games.
I wouldn't want to be back in the school after I got my diploma. I'm like, bye, bitches.
Well, we graduated at a different place. We graduated in a university, a few hours away, and then we came back, and then we had a sidekick come in and hypnotize people.
I thought you said sidekick.
Sidekick. We had a sidekick come in.
I'm like,
sidekick of who? I don't know.
Robin?
We were the Red Knights. What's a squire? The squire came and hypnotized people. Sidekick. Wait, no. How do you say it?
Psychic.
Psychic.
Sidekick.
Sidekick.
Not sidekick.
Kick.
Sidekick. Sidekick.
But it was actually my birthday on the lock-in, so my graduation was the day before my birthday.
You graduated late. We graduated, this is too, for me, we graduated early May.
Oh. So we had prom May 2nd, and then we had graduation May 17th. So.
Okay.
Anyway,
back to the story. They rolled up to their friend's house, Janelle Kirby, and they were going to stay the night at her house. However, her family was in town because of her just graduating, and there was no room for 2 extra teen girls, 2 women, to stay in the house. So the 3 women decided, hey, you know what, Streeter McCall just got to go back to Streeter's house. Well, yeah, back to Streeter's house because McCall's car was there. And they're just going to stay the night there, and then Kirby would be by over in the morning because they were going to go spend the weekend down in the Ozarks at a water park.
Must be nice.
Right? They're just going to hang out and chill for the weekend.
I've been to a water park in forever.
Should go to water park.
Oceans of Fun. Oceans of Fun.
Take you to Oceans of Fun.
I haven't been to Oceans.
I know. I'll take you this summer.
What was
Worlds of Fun. Worlds of Fun and Oceans of Fun.
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
we're vaccinated.
We're vaccinated.
So
we go get this done.
We can socialize.
We can be around people.
Choices.
At 11 p.m. on the 6th, Levitt was talking to her friend on the phone about painting furniture the next morning. She was a cosmetologist. She did hair. She was very creative woman. So she liked painting things and furniture. And so that's what she was going to do the next morning, was paint an armoire. When Kirby and her boyfriend went over to the Streeter household at 9 a.m. on the 7th, they noticed that everyone's cars were in the driveway. Nothing unusual, really, except when they got to the porch, they noticed there was glass everywhere. Mm-hmm. The light fixture was broken that was above the door, but the light bulb itself was intact. So it was just like the glass on the fixture that was broken. Kirby wasn't wearing shoes.
I'd be like, girl, get your shoes on.
So her boyfriend, being the gentleman that he sounds like he was, swept the glass up and put it off to the side.
I guess that was nice. I would still be like, go get your shoes on.
I would be too. Be like, why aren't you wearing shoes, you 18-year-old girl?
This is gravel and grass. You could step in dog poo-poo.
There could be glass.
Yes.
On the ground.
A snake could come and bite your foot.
Oh, God. While the boyfriend was sweeping up, she was knocking and ringing on the door. No answer. She turned the knob thinking it can't be unlocked. It was unlocked. So they both walk into the house calling the women's names. No answer. The family dog, though, came bounding up to Kirby, jumping into her arms, basically. His name was Cinnamon. He was a Yorkshire Terrier. He was very distraught and upset, apparently. He was barking nonstop. He was just very upset. Realizing that no one was home, Kirby thought maybe Streeter and McCall went to the water park with their other friends, like wires got crossed or something. So they're like, okay, maybe I wasn't supposed to meet them here, but at the water park itself. So they're like, okay, let's just leave and, maybe try calling later or something, see, you know, what's going on. As they were leaving, the phone rang. Thinking it was Streeter or McCall, Kirby answered the phone. And she's like, hello? And there was some creepy guy on the phone saying very weird, sexual, strange innuendos to Kirby. Obviously not liking that. No. Hung up. Right. She just clicked it. She tried leaving again, but then the phone rang again. She picked up again thinking it might be them, even though her boyfriend's like, don't, it's probably the pervert. She picked up again. It was the pervert, making the same weird, strange innuendo. So click, and then they left. McCall told her mother the previous day that she would be staying at Kirby's house, and that they would call in the morning before they left for the water park. Mm-hmm. No phone call came. No phone call. Obviously, Mrs. McCall was getting very worried, so she called over to the Kirby household. Kirby's younger sister picked up and indicated that Streeter and McCall never stayed there because of the family issue with too many people in the house. But they went over to Streeter's house. Mrs. McCall tried calling over to the Levitt Streeter residence, but no answer, obvious. So she ended up going over there, but that was a struggle in itself because she actually had to find the house.
Okay.
Because they didn't know, like, Levitt and Streeter, they recently moved into that house less than a month before. Mm-hmm. And so only a few people knew where it was at. And so she had to, like, figure out, and so this is hours have passed.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out, like, why isn't my daughter calling me? Mm-hmm. Apparently, McCall was very on the nose, like a very responsible daughter. I'm not saying that the other women weren't, but when McCall said that she was going to do something for her mom, she did it. Mrs. McCall walked into the unlocked house still and noticed that all three women's cars were there still. And also that all three women's purses were strangely piled on the living room floor. Like, piled on top of each other.
Like, so stacked on top of each other.
And as well as the women's clothes were folded neatly. Mm-hmm. And that it looked like they were getting ready for bed. She noticed, like, tissues and makeup remover stuff that had all their makeup. Their jewelry was off. Mrs. McCall also noticed that Levitt's cigarettes were still there, which is very strange in itself because she was a very much chain smoker. Like, it said that she couldn't go 2 minutes without a cigarette. Like, so she always had one in her hand. So she thought that was strange in itself. Mrs. McCall called her husband and she was freaking out. She's like, I don't know what to do. Everyone's car is here. Everything's here, but they're not. And she also noticed the dog, who looks still upset and distressed. Mr. and Mrs. McCall decided to call the police and indicate that the women were missing. After calling the police, she also started calling other people, seeing where they were at. She noticed, as she was calling other people, that there was a message on the answering machine. She listened to it thinking maybe it's the women leaving a message.
Yeah.
It was a very strange and unusual message. It was a man's voice, you could tell.
Yeah.
But it was like mumbled, and like it was very hard to hear what
was going on.
Was on it.
Yeah.
It accidentally got erased.
Of course it did.
Yeah. And
That's
this was in 92, so this was not a digital answer machine. This was a taped answering machine that if you press erase, it erases it.
But the magic of the pencil and the spinning
it does not work like that. When it's erased, Michelle,
Turn
it's
back time.
Turn
back the tape.
Police were unable to retrieve that message, even with their advanced 1992 technology that they had.
They should have had a pencil.
If they had a pencil, they could have gotten it back. The police came to the house about 16 hours after the women were last seen or heard from. The crime scene itself was contaminated by at least 10 to 20 different people because of Mrs. McCall and Kirby. Kirby came back to the house as well, trying to see what's going on, because she was a little worried too. Because she's like, my friends wouldn't have done this. I know they wouldn't have. So they're calling people, trying to get a hold of other people. The police did know that there was no signs of struggle, so I mean, I guess that's good in an aspect, except the broken porch light. But, unfortunately, they couldn't test anything on the broken porch light since it was swept up and contaminated.
Boyfriend. Should have put on those shoes, Kirby.
The beds looked like they were slept in, and that all personal belongings, including money, car keys, cigarettes, and the family dog, were all left behind. There was a possible sighting that was not confirmed at a local steakhouse that was less than a mile from the house. The server indicated that he saw all three women in a green van with Streeter driving, and that it was noted that she looked like she was in duress, almost like she was being held at gunpoint, is what the server said. It couldn't be confirmed with other witnesses or confirmed by camera evidence.
Suspicious.
The police did make a replica of the possible van and posted it to the public to come forward with any information regarding anything to do with the van.
So this was an actual life-size van.
Yeah, it's a
that
life-size.
they replicated.
So when I say replicated, it's more like they got a van that
they got the exact.
Not that
They
van.
didn't build the van.
They didn't build the van. They got a van, and then they either painted it the same color green. They got the van, and they're like, "Have you seen a van that looks like this?"
I just don't know why they couldn't take a picture and be like, "Hey, let's post this."
This van was actually stationed at a SPD station.
Yeah. And it's like, have you seen me? Have you seen me on the street?
With women inside me. That sounds a little weird.
Yes, it does scare.
Family and friends took to the streets with missing flyers for the three women, plastering the flyers everywhere that you could imagine, even coming all the way to Kansas City and St. Louis, plastering the flyers everywhere. The Springfield 3 is what the women are called, was featured on America's Most Wanted as well as other TV shows. However, a call came in to America's Most Wanted hotline in December of 92, so 6 months later, saying that they had information about the kidnapped women, and they gave details that were not released out to the public. I don't know what the details are because they were not released out to the public, so I still feel like they're not going to release those details.
They should tell me these details.
They should tell us the details, but
I may know something.
You were 2 weeks when they disappeared.
Probably, but
and I was 3. We don't know anything about the case besides what we researched.
I've barely been to Springfield, but I could know something. Maybe I was a past life of somebody. I don't know.
The switchboard operator was trying to connect the caller to the Springfield PD. However, the caller ended up ending the call. right when they were being connected. The SPD and media outlets urged the caller to call back. No strings attached. They just wanted to know what information they had.
Mm-hmm.
They never did. Other people have called the hotline in the past with different tips. One in particular gained a lot of attention.
What was that, Karen?
The women's bodies are in the south side parking lot at Cox Hospital in Springfield.
Okay, that's detailed.
Yeah. A reporter in 2007 actually hired a mechanical engineer to scan the corner of the parking lot where it was said the women were at with ground-penetrating radar.
Okay, fancy.
The engineer actually found 3 masses, all the same size. All women were roughly the same height and weight.
Mm-hmm.
2 were laying side by side, and then 1 on top of them. However, the police and the hospital decided against digging up the parking lot. Okay. Spokeswoman for SPD indicated that Cox Hospital was started in development in the fall of 1993. So it's unlikely that those masses that are seen in the ground penetrating radar are actually the 3 women.
I think they possibly could be, because they could be, held captive for however long, and then, stab you, you're dead, and then oh, I'm going to dump you in the corner of this built garage thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been noted that there was guys that kidnapped women for years and held them captive.
Yeah. Women, men, children.
Yeah.
And then,
so it's just it is a possibility that could be them that are buried there. I hope not, because that is very gruesome.
Yeah.
Gruesome idea. A former assistant prosecutor for the county said that the tip came from someone who claimed to be a psychic or claimed to have dreams, visions about the case. So it wasn't looked more into. Psychics.
If it's not Simon Baker, can't trust him.
Nope.
Nope.
But he's not really a psychic.
He is. Don't question it, Karen.
He's a mentalist.
Mentalist, yes. Well,
There's a difference.
there is, I guess. But he played a sidekick, before he became a mentalist. No, psychic.
Not sidekick.
Psychic.
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 Psych.
Psych.
Ick.
Psychic.
Okay.
Psychic.
Okay.
But before he became a mentalist, he was a psychic.
Suspects.
Okay.
For about half a second, SPD actually thought that Levitt's son might have had something to do with it. His name was Bart Streeter. He's about 10 years older than Susie Streeter. Mm-hmm. They had a very strained relationship. All 3 of them did, because of his alcohol issues. Susie actually lived with Bart for a little while. Her brother left when he was about 17 himself, and Susie was very young, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back when Susie was about to graduate high school. And, he's like, let's move in together and get to know each other more.
Mm-hmm.
But because of his alcohol issues, it caused problems, and she left and went back to her mom. Strained relationship. There was also charges that were dropped, but it was false imprisonment charges against him in Tennessee. But they were dropped. He was eventually eliminated as a suspect completely. They're like, no, he couldn't have done this. Susie's ex-boyfriend, Dustin Rekla, and his friend Michael Clay actually suspected due to having a falling out with Streeter. Rekla and Clay were charged with vandalism of a mausoleum and selling the gold teeth of corpses. Streeter was set to testify against them. So she wasn't there during the vandalizing, is what I can tell, but she knew that they did it because they claimed it, and she turned them in to the police. When Clay was interviewed, he expressed that he wished that all 3 women were dead. Yeah. And then if you see the interview, I saw it a few times, it was just kind of like he had no emotion whatsoever. He's just like, I wish they're dead.
So why did he? I assume he just didn't like McCall because they were friends, and then he didn't like the mom.
So there was a slight fight a few days before, trying to intimidate Susie, and McCall, being her, kind of stepped in and was like, back the hell up for my friend.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay.
And I'm guessing, obviously, since Levitt's Susie's mom.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't. So he just wanted all 3 women dead. Their alibis could not be confirmed, but there was no evidence to link them to the case.
Mm.
However, However, they're still considered persons of interest with the case. In 1997, Robert Craig Cox, a known kidnapper and robber, and he's also suspected of murder in Florida, told journalists that he knew what happened to the women and he knows where their bodies are.
Maybe at a hospital parking lot.
However, he's not going to give up any information until his mother dies.
Why can't you just say it? Like, why do you have to wait till mom dies?
Well, apparently he doesn't want to upset her more. He's already in prison for life. What more could she not be disappointed with you?
Yeah, I'm like, you kidnapped someone, you robbed people, and you apparently killed someone. Like, she's already disappointed.
Right? Just tell.
Yes.
It was looked into with a journalist, and Cox lived in the area in 1992. He was also interviewed at the time, being a person of interest because of his record. Cox told the police then that he was with his girlfriend at church the morning of the disappearance, and she confirmed his alibi.
Okay.
However, after being pressured by the police, she recanted and said that he told her to say that, and he really wasn't with her. Cox told police, he's like, oh, no, I lied. I'm sorry. My mistake. I was actually with my parents. And his parents are like, yeah, no, he was with us. If I ever committed a crime and I needed an alibi, my mom would definitely be like, yeah, no, she was with me. Like, no doubt about it. In my head, I know my mom would. You're laughing, but you know it's true.
She most likely would.
My mom would. My mom would probably confess to a crime I did just to make sure I was okay. That's how much my mom loves me. I'm not saying your mom doesn't love you that much or anyone else's mom, but I know my mom, she would be like, no, it was me. I was there. She was with me. Or, my mom would definitely, get me off charges.
I'm pretty sure, both my parents be like, I don't want you to go to jail. I may protect you, but I'm like, they'll be like, you have to do the right thing. I'm like, okay.
No. My mom would be
You're going to cover for me. That's the right thing.
The right thing to do was to cover for me. So, authorities are uncertain if Cox was actually involved in the case or if he's just doing it to gain more notoriety and gain more attention for alleging these murders. A lot of criminals do that. Say, oh yeah, I've committed this murder too, or this crime as well, just so they look like they have a bigger rep, which I find dumb. I guess jailhouse rules. You gotta be the bigger person. You gotta be the badder person in jail, right? I'm basing this off of crime dramas that I've seen, so I don't know the facts because I've never been to jail and I'm never going to jail. But it's just kind of
because she has an alibi.
Because I've got an alibi, so I'm good. But it's just kind of okay.
Yeah, I don't get why they do that.
If you committed a crime, do the crime.
Yeah, do the crime.
Do the time for your crime. Got it.
But don't go bragging.
Don't add more that you didn't do.
That's just stupid.
It doesn't make sense.
I wonder if the person, if they did claim to do it and the actual person that did it would be jealous, be like, no, it's me. That should happen.
That probably has happened in the past.
Probably. It was me. Don't take
me.
Don't take all my credit.
Why would you do
that? I worked so hard
at killing those people.
What? I didn't say anything.
Police declared all 3 women dead in 1997. However, the Springfield 3 is still an active, ongoing case with over 5,000 tips that were given to the police from the public.
First.
Was
the dog taken into a good home? Is Cinnamon okay? I'm sure he's dead now. But I'm really concerned about the dog.
You're really concerned about Cinnamon. I think Cinnamon's okay.
Doggy heaven now. But
if any, they had family and friends who were concerned with him, so he most likely was taken care of by a family member or a friend.
Okay,
so don't worry about Cinnamon. He probably lived a good long life after the disappearances. Suspects. Who do you think could have done it? We had 3 possible ones.
I don't think it's the brother.
I don't think it was the brother.
My funniness being it's the Cox guy because he buried him in the Cox hospital.
Cox. Cox is a common name, though.
It is.
So, like, I even think there was a spokesperson for the SPD. I think her name is Cox. So,
it's still suspicious. And he's kidnapped and murdered.
Yeah, and he won't give information, though, until his mom dies. And his mom is still alive, that we know of. So,
but
there's that.
I'm leaning towards more the boyfriend and the friend.
Yeah.
The friend of the boyfriend.
I think they know something. I'm not saying that they did it, but I feel like they know something. I feel like things are known. Because this isn't a small town, but it's not a big town either. It's a farming community town, right? So, like, I feel like there's some stuff that
someone's protecting
someone, and I feel like they possibly might know more. That's one reason that they're also persons of interest still. Like, it even said on newer documents that they are still being looked into as persons of interest.
I don't blame them. Like you say, I hope those 3 men and women are dead. I'll be like,
excuse me?
What?
Can you elaborate?
Yes. Why do you say that?
It's like,
Did you do something about it?
Did you put them in the Cox Hospital parking lot? That's another thing. Like, I feel like that should be looked into more. Like, I would get some pickaxes. I would go out and do it, and then when they're like, "What are you doing?" Be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish. I already started."
Get some dynamite and just oops.
Oops. Oh no.
Oh look, there's masses.
Look what these 3 masses are that aren't seen anywhere else in the parking lot except for right here. What's going on?
And I don't know that light. Why? I know they broke the light, the lenses, and the glass.
The fixture, yeah.
Yeah, but the bulb itself wasn't broken. Like.
Yeah, but sorry, I didn't tell this part. It wasn't screwed in all the way.
So they broke it and then they unscrewed it. So the light was off.
So what I think might have happened is they broke it trying to think they would break the bulb, but they didn't break the bulb, so they twisted it so people couldn't see them.
Definitely an interesting case, and it's sad that they're pronounced dead, and they most likely are. And I just want answers.
There should
My
be
2-year-old self would like to help.
My 3.5-year-old self was kind of probably just like playing with my animals and not really caring, because I didn't live in Springfield. I lived in Missouri. I lived in Kansas City, so.
I was also in Kansas City at the time.
Yeah.
I was in Independence.
Well, actually, I wasn't in Kansas City. We lived in Freeman.
Oh yeah.
So, northern farming area.
I was just advanced at two weeks.
She was so advanced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the Springfield 3. So, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Comment, like, subscribe. If you have any cases you want us to look into, put in the comments down below. Again, thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.